Okay, my head's spinning. I didn't understand a single thing that he was talking. MPPT3 eco inverter 1000 watt blah 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 blah
So
blah. All right, you've had this set up and been using the EcoFlow for a couple days now. How do you like it?
Well, I want to do a review right now on the EcoFlow. This is a River Pro up here, and that's a Delta Pro there. I will do that later, but right now I don't have that much experience, even though they're super simple. But I want to explain the idea of what we're doing. So with the power stations, they're a little different than the individual components. The Delta Pro and that one too, both have inverters in it. That one has a 3600 watt inverter, has an MPPT controller, which I believe is a 1600 watts of solar that you can put in it. This one is a smaller, I think it's 720, but anyway, they both have inverters, both has MPPT controllers, both lithium batteries. So what we're doing is, originally we had two Delta Pros, but the problem was one of them would have to be in a slide in the wall. And it takes up quite a bit of room, plus they're 100 pounds. I found a 500-pound slide, it would work. It's just not easy. So instead, we went with one Delta Pro and one River Pro. And how I have it set up now is the River Pro will be trickle fed from the Delta Pro, a lot of pros, trickle fed with from the DC charge. So this will always be full, okay? And this one handles only the refrigerator. So the refrigerator is going to be tied into here. When I tested it in Las Vegas, it was about 500 watts a day. Temperatures, depending on temperatures, it'll be more or less usage, but the inverter inefficiency or the loss from the inverter on this one was low, and so this one worked out really well. So this one will always be at full charge. This one here, the Delta Pro, will then feed that one, and it's also going to feed our other DC powered or 12-volt powered, like our TV, our fans, our lights, stuff like that will come off of this one. And I'll wire that up later. I'll do a video on that as I wire it. But this one then gets charged via the alternator. Basically, this is connected into the battery of the starting battery. This is 1000 watts. The Mercedes Sprinter can handle 80 amps of push off of the alternator to be used for charging your house battery. So 80 amps at 12 volts, that's 960 watts. The nice thing is, so I have a 1000-watt inverter, and that will turn on and off when the ignition, because I bought a special little gadget that you hook up, so when the ignition turns on, that inverter turns on. When the ignition turns off, that inverter turns off, which is very important because you don't want that running without the engine going, because you'll take down your battery, your starting battery, pretty fast. So that's in there, and what'll happen then, that'll charge the Delta Pro as we're driving. And we drove, I don't even know how far.
20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, not even, 20 minutes. And it charged it from 83% to 90%. And that's a 3600 watt hour battery in there. So that was really good in that short period of time. And at the same time, it was charging or trickle charging the River Pro. And so that stayed at 100%. So it was charging that along with itself. The nice thing with the Delta Pro, it has the ability that you can set the charging speed. So for instance, the Delta Pro will charge at like 1800 on a wall plug, like 1800 watts. if you take it to EV charging station, I think it's like 3,000 watts. It's crazy. But we're waiting on an EV adapter. So we're not sponsored by EcoFlow, but if we were, you should send us the adapter for the EV charging, and then we'll do a review on it. I mean, I'll even pay for it. I just need it. So, but anyway, so we're waiting on that, because then we'll just pull this out, come to a power EV, which like is a car charging station, and we'll plug it in, and it charges like within an hour. So really good. But anyway, this allows you to set the charging speed, because if you just had it full out, it wants to do 1800 watts. Well, no, the inverter only can do 1000 watts, so it's going to overpower that inverter right away. So what you do is you can set the EcoFlow to, I have it set for 900 watts, and I could go to 1000, and I had it on there for a while, but 900 is fine at this point in time, because that's below the 80 amps that is allowed. And so that'll charge at 900 watts as we're driving. So it's fantastic. Now, last night we stayed in a hotel, and what I did is I wheeled that thing out. It's 100 pounds. It's not a big deal. Lift it off here. The the two-wheel drive is a little lower, but even so, the four-wheel drive be no problem. Lift it off. It has a handle like a suitcase. Wheeled it right into the hotel room, no problem. Plugged it into the AC outlet, 100% in no time. You know, then you don't have to worry. But that's what I love about it. If you have Battleborn batteries, you're not charging those anyplace. You're charging them in your van and RV, whatever. The EcoFlows you can move. We can move this one too, but this is the one that we mainly need to move, is the Delta Pro. But it comes out easy. The other thing on it is it's also, and I'll go through this later, so I'm just on, I guess, about our setup right now. So ultimately I'm going to set up, they have Anderson connectors on it, which are just plug-in connectors, no big deal. I'm going to an Anderson fuse plug thing. I'll show you when I actually design. I don't even know the name
helpful.
of it. It's like it's not a fuse box, so instead of like putting individual fuses in, you put these Anderson connectors, which I have crimpers for, but I'll show you that later. I'm gonna put that someplace in here, I don't know, and then run everything to that, and then run one cable to the EcoFlow, and then that will go ahead and trickle that and do the lights and everything. So it's really slick. I mean, you can, if you know me at all, which, you know, of course you don't probably, but or maybe you do.
A little bit.
Yeah. So,
I hope. I'm putting out a video every day for the last year. So.
But my whole life I get excited or, you know, giddy over the tech stuff, you know, and so I love the tech stuff. I love trying to set up something that's really easy and simple. I would have went with these power stations when we first built our other van, but they weren't. They were on back order quite a bit. So, and then going with the inverter off of that. So that 1,000 watt inverter coming off of the starting battery, that's only on through a switch when the ignition is on. That's the same as our 3 DC to DC charger, Victron chargers, which is basically $1,000 plus all the wiring and cabling and everything to go, and fuses and everything. That is the same. That does 80 amps off of that thing, just like our 3 DC to DC chargers. So that is a great idea, and we'll see. You know, watch a month from now, because maybe I'll say, well, it didn't really work. No, it will. I mean, the concept is solid. It's really nice that I put the Delta Flow here, because I have easy access. I can pull it right out this door. But if we go to charge it from an EV station, it's right here. I can take it out. It's also right next to the seat, so I have my 1,000 watt inverter there. I wanted to put it inside the seat base, but it gets really hot, and we had that on our motorhome, and that thing would get too hot and it would shut down. So it's better where it's at. It's fine. You know?
Yeah, it looks good there.
Yeah, it's fine, and it allows us to plug in another something else if we wanted to as we're driving. So if you're working on the computer, you could plug the computer in possibly, or whatever. I don't know if it's necessary, but so EcoFlow is our solution on this van. The nice thing, so if it wasn't for that EV charging off of that Delta Pro, and it fits really good there, I would have maybe gone with multiples of these. So the goal is to not have anything on the roof. No roof rails. We don't have roof rails, so that's part of the issue. But I spent a couple weeks on the other van setting up everything on the roof. at least. And I don't want to. The goal is not to have that. No ladder.
Until we get surfboards, until we get paddle boards.
No, it's not. Nothing's going on the roof. So.
Okay, you heard it there. We're not putting anything on the roof. We will see.
Well, unless it's solar, you know, and that people are watching this like, oh, you're crazy. You just have to get solar. But with the 1,000-watt inverter and the EV charge and the portability of this, cross the fingers. So there's other good things with these too that are really slick. I have it on the Victron system too, on the 4x4. But this is super easy to set up, and when I review it, I will show you that.
Cool, nice.
Just a little plug for the review, I guess.
Okay, my head's spinning. I didn't understand a single thing that he was talking. MPPT3 eco inverter, 1,000-watt, blah 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 blah.
If EcoFlow is watching, I need your EV charging station adapter.
Dang it! Send the thing.
I'll pay you. It's $99. I'll pay you $150 for it, and I'll do a review on it. I just need it in my hands so we can use it.
You want it in your hands.
Right, yeah, I mean...
Because we can pull it out, so...
Well, no, you can't charge at a charging station without it. So.
We can pull it out and drag it into a coffee shop.
Yeah. Like Aaron said, it looks like a bomb, so I don't think we're going to do that. So.
I like the baby here. The baby's just my size. I can carry this around, kinda. Like that.
And
if need be, and so...
Okay, wait, I got one more thing. So Aaron, our youngest son, and he has a Sprinter. He was out with his friends this weekend. He has 2 River Pros, and they lasted,
4 days.
4 days, 4 guys, diesel heater, because it was raining and they're in the Pacific Northwest. He had the diesel heater on. He had a refrigerator, one of the smaller refrigerators, but, you know, a cigarette lighter refrigerator. You know, laptops, of course, all their laptops and everything else, and it lasted 4 days.
Yeah.
For 2 of them. And I think they were basically at 0 when he brought them home, but then they charged from 0 to 90 in like an hour.
Yeah, yeah. Very slick system.
So if there's a better system out there, send me it.
It's gonna be Victron, you know it. It's gonna be. No, just kidding. So thanks for watching, guys, on our little Eco Pro, our big Eco Pro, little big system that we have set up. And we love sharing this information with you guys. Thought we better talk about it right now while it's fresh in Bob's head, not my head, to give you a little bit of information on how it's working so far. So thanks for watching our videos. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and keep the comments coming. Have a great day.